Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are, whenever you are. Welcome to a new DC live stream. I'm your host, Matt Materia, here with my co-host, Wasim Debussy. How are you, my friend? Oh, you're on. I seem to not have any audio. Let me just check my audio speaker. That's weird. I can't seem to hear you. That's interesting. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. There you go. Oh, maybe it was you.
It was me. For some reason, I tested the mic before we got on, and then it changed to a different mic. So, anyway, how was your long weekend, mate?
It was very good. I was like, oh no, my computer audio's crashed then because obviously I wasn't hearing anything back, and I was like, you were talking. So,
Yeah.
anyways, we got through the technical issues. It can happen sometimes when you're doing live streams. Yes, my weekend was good. Bitcoin's been boring for 2 weeks now, but as I said in the Bitcoin technical analysis video yesterday on our YouTube channel, if you are not watching, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I said we might get a bit of a small move to the upside, 19,800, but I still don't think there is enough good news. The fundamentals are still showing that people are selling, and I don't have confidence in it breaking to the upside. But if it does, it will be a very big move, and it's going to move very fast. So there's going to be a lot of people returning to the market if we do break the trend line, and I might cover a bit of TA later on.
I hear you. There's a lot of negative news happening around the world right now. Even Turkey's new inflation rate of coming in at 83% year on year, which is the highest they've had in I think it was like 40 years or something. So the world is not looking good economically at the moment. We've been saying this for a while. There's definitely some pain ahead for the investors out there. However, it's also a generation buy opportunity, as we're going to discuss today. Yeah. So it's not all bad news. You can always look at things. It all depends on your model of the world and how you look at things. So
that's right. Yeah. Money and mindset, some of the stuff that we talk about inside of our course.
Yeah, I agree. And this is the time for people to really be looking at their money mindset, because this is the time that you can really create generational wealth if you're doing the right thing. Let's have a look at our first story for the day, which is United Nations warns Fed to cool interest rate hikes. So as inflation rampens up, the United Nations Federal Reserve is continuing to ramp up the interest rates. So we started off with almost 0% interest rates. We're up to like 3.25 interest rates right now. However, a recent report from the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, which is called UNCTAD, UNCTAD, they said that the speed at which the United States is increasing interest rates is going to hurt the world in general. There's going to be a recession happening, which is then going to mean that the poorer nations are going to pay the price. Because what generally happens when the United States increases their interest rates and their dollar is so strong, then what that means is other countries start having difficulty buying United States products. So, think about all the things that get sold in US dollars, whether it's mobile phones, internet services, anything online that you're buying through US dollars becomes more and more expensive. This is how they export inflation to other countries. Because they're increasing their interest rates and their prices go up, the rest of the world pays a bigger price for that. So this report is warning that, this aggressive rate hikes by the Fed is to combat inflation is the only tool that they're using, and this is going to cause havoc in other countries. And obviously the reason why they're doing this is because they're curbing their quantitative easing, which happened in 2020 during the pandemic and the deepest recession we've ever had. So by doing all that money printing, now they're trying to take the money out of the market. They're making a lot of the people pay the price. And who ends up paying the price? The average person like you and I. Moving on, we have another one, which is Bitcoin is real money, a safe haven asset as per this big name in finance. So this article is talking about Robert Kiyosaki. If you don't know who Robert Kiyosaki is, I'd highly recommend you look up Rich Dad Poor Dad, which is one of his first books and his bestsellers. He's got a lot of different financial education content and financial literacy. He's even got a game. I've got a game here called Cash Flow, which I play with my family on a regular basis, where you're going around and trying to build your wealth during the game. So he's come out and said in a tweet saying, buying opportunity, if Fed continues raising interest rates, US dollar will get stronger, causing gold, silver, and Bitcoin price to go lower. Buy more when Fed pivots and drops interest rates, as England just did. You will smile while others cry. Take care. So what he's referring there is, last week we reported about the United Kingdom, UK, England moving towards quantitative easing versus quantitative tightening, which is what the majority of the world is doing right now. So they've gone against what the US Fed is doing, and they've actually started quantitative easing, which means they're going to print more money, they're going to put more money in the economy. Now, when that happens, the value of that currency gets devalued, because supply and demand, when there's more of something, it becomes worth less. So that is why the pound is struggling right now. And this is what he's saying is, sooner or later, the United States Federal Reserve is going to do the same thing. They're going to move away from quantitative tightening and increasing interest rates to quantitative easing and reducing interest rates, because they can't keep choking the market, choking the economy as they have been the past year. But when that happens, what's going to happen is there's going to be a massive influx of money coming into assets like gold, like silver, like Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, which means that right now, as we've been saying, is generational buy territory. If you invest in assets that are going to be resilient against the quantitative easing, or are going to boom during quantitative easing, you're going to make a lot of money coming up. So Robert Kiyosaki has been a big supporter. He's written a lot of books. He used to always talk about buying gold and silver because it's hard assets. And when he discovered Bitcoin, he started telling people to buy Bitcoin. So again, guys, you need to be learning about what cryptocurrencies are and why you need to be paying attention to this space, because those of us getting involved now are going to enjoy a lot of rewards in the next 5 to 10 years. All right, moving on. Money flowing out of crypto funds is $666 million less than previous quarter, indicating bearish investors are already out, by Bloomberg report. So according to data from Bloomberg, money flowing out of crypto exchanges traded funds has slowed down 97% in quarter 3 compared to quarter 2. So what they said was, back in quarter 2, it was at $683 million of funds being taken out of ETFs and off exchanges. In quarter 3, we've only seen $17.6 million of funds being taken out of ETFs and exchanges. Now, what does that mean? That means that most of the bearish investors have already taken their money out. So now we don't have a lot of money left in crypto. So the money that is left in crypto right now is predominantly people who are hodlers like us, who are in it for the long term, who have diamond hands, are going to be there and are not going to be selling regardless of what happens to price. Now, that means the OGs are still left in the crypto market and the speculators are out, which to me means that, we are getting close to the bottom. I'm not going to call the bottom. I will never, I won't put myself in that position. I don't have the confidence, to be honest. But it does tell me that right now is a great time to be buying in, because we can have a turnaround in the market in the next 6 to 12 months. So DCAing, guys, as we've always been saying, is always a great option to be doing right now. Moving on, a crumbling stock market could create profitable opportunities for Bitcoin traders. So what we're seeing now in October, we're going to have companies like Tesla, like Meta, like Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, and Google all reporting their second quarter earnings. And what that is going to be showing is, what people are worried about is that all of these tech companies are going to have a lot less profit coming in. Like, in fact, Google has already is expected to grow revenues by less than 10% when it usually grows by 40% in 2021. So they're expecting less profit from these companies, which means people are going to start taking their money out. Already, some of the big boys like I get a mind blank. So a lot of these big companies are already starting to sell their own shares to bring in more cash in and more reserve. And this is going to allow for more flow to be going into crypto. Moving on, this I found very interesting, and I think this one tells a bit of a story. Zombie cryptocurrencies inundate market data show. So what this report is saying, again, more data from Bloomberg showing there's 12,000 zombie cryptocurrencies, which means zombie cryptocurrencies, as they've defined it, is crypto tokens that are out there that have not been traded because the projects have been abandoned, whether they were personal projects or other projects. But because we are in a bear market, people abandon these projects and move on because there's no money flowing in. What that tells me, what that should be telling you, is this is why you've got to learn and know what projects to get into. You don't want to get into a project just because we're in a bull market. Like last year, we had the meme coin craze. There was the ICO craze in 2017. Every bull market brings a craze with it. However, these crazes don't last. Crypto isn't just about people throwing money in there. And what we see now is there's over 21,190 cryptocurrencies reported by you today. And Nomics, which tracks over 64,400 coins. Now, out of those 64,400 coins, how do you know which other ones are going to make it, which other ones that are completely scams or worthless or not even worth putting $1 in? This is where education comes in. The crypto market has gone down by about $2 trillion since its peak. It's now trading at $937 billion, while it was peaked at almost $3 trillion. And 39% of those trades have been all in Bitcoin. So when you learn and you understand what cryptocurrencies truly are and what they are not, then you'll learn to understand what to invest in. And that's what I really loved about this article. That's it from me with the crypto, with the news highlights. Over to you, Maddie, with the Twitter highlights.
Thank you, mate. Well said. Alrighty, guys, we're starting off with Lark Davis. The more chaos in the markets, the more central banks will need to intervene. EU energy crisis, print. UK pension funds on the brink, print. Yuan tanking, print. Systematically important banks on the brink, yeah, print. So very, very interesting here is this relates to a Netflix doco I watched over the weekend, and I posted it in our members channel. And I recommend, if you're watching this, then you're either crypto enthusiast, stock market enthusiast, you like making money enthusiast. I watched the GameStop documentary on the weekend, and if you remember the GameStop's the story about a year and a half ago, I think, or maybe even just 2020, start of 2020. There was a subreddit group called Wall Street Bets, and they basically pushed the price of the stock GameStop. A lot of people made money. A couple of hedge funds went out of, they went bankrupt because they were shorting the stock. But basically, it reminds me of how the central banks and also people behind the scenes, probably governments and stuff, basically were helping these guys or bail these guys out. And these are the same types of hedge funds that really put people in financial crisis during the GFC. You probably heard of the housing market in the US. And basically, it's like, why are we helping these guys? Why are we going to print them out of trouble because they made a bad bet on a stock market, whereas the government wasn't helping everyday people with their mortgage repayments because inflation went really high. And, if you've watched The Big Short, the movie is all about the 2008, 2009 GFC. So watch that movie, then also watch GameStop. And one thing inside of the GameStop doco, they didn't talk about the bailouts in the back end. This is stuff that was all in the media, but they didn't put it in the doco. So do your research. Look at what happened during that GameStop, pump and dump basically, or short stopping, and give us some feedback in the comment section of this video. All right, next we have Peter Schiff. The SEC is finding Kim Kardashian $1.2 million for pumping crypto. What about the real pumpers? Saylor had much more to gain pumping crypto than Kim, or CNBC paid millions for ads by crypto companies, then pumping Bitcoin nonstop while providing industry pumpers with airtime. So it's an interesting tweet because he's basically calling out Saylor for pumping up Bitcoin. I totally understand that. And you got CNBC, like we talked about this guy Jim Cramer from Squawk Box, or that's what it used to be called. It could be different these days. They're always giving retail investors, great stocks that you should buy, but basically they're getting in right before everyone so they can, you can fill their bags and so forth. Look, they're all this is technically, in a way, like insider trading, or people with influence. I mean, I remember I watched last bull market. I watched Elon tweeting it like it eventually was going to happen or something, and everyone in the community crypto community was like, oh, he's getting into Bitcoin, or he's bought Bitcoin. And then we went from like 30K to 70K because Elon basically started the second leg of the bull run. He basically let everyone know that him, Tesla, and all these other companies had finally bought into crypto and Bitcoin. And, he was he's basically the biggest name on Twitter. Whatever he does, says, people like flock like sheep quicker than quicksand. And, he talked about Bitcoin the following day. He said, yeah, Tesla bought Bitcoin, and man, it pumped. So they all do it. But because Bitcoin is it's decentralized and no one actually owns it, they can't really be pointing fingers at anyone. So I understand what Peter Schiff is saying, but at the end of the day, people can say whatever they want. It's freedom of speech, apparently, in the US. But, Kim Kardashian pumping coins and then it being a scam or whatever, I'd have to do a bit of research on that. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, I think with this one, it was also about that Kim Kardashian was paid to be able to. It was
the sponsored ad.
That was a paid ad, and she didn't actually reveal that to the community or to the people. So because of that, that's why she was fined. So look, my opinion is Peter Schiff is absolutely wrong here, because people like Saylor, they're not pumping Bitcoin to pump their bags. They're pumping Bitcoin because they believe in the technology, they believe in what it provides. So Saylor is not someone that the SEC or anybody can fine for supporting Bitcoin. Now, Elon Musk, on the other hand, I'm not a huge fan of Elon Musk, but he did pump Bitcoin, which was good. I was a fan then, and then he turned around and just pretty much shorted it and said, "Hey, we're not accepting Bitcoin anymore." So he's not a true Bitcoiner, in my opinion. But people like Saylor, Michael Saylor, he is a true Bitcoiner, and he's definitely supporting the community. So this is why the SEC can't touch him, because he's not paid for it.
No worries. Well said. I was gonna show my my little beer stubby holder. Look, CoinSpot is not a sponsor of this channel. Don't think I'm plugging them, but they are a good exchange if you live in Australia, and the ease of use, the user interface for buying crypto is quite easy. So there you go. Free shout out to CoinSpot. I wasn't paid. Maybe in the future they might sponsor this channel, and we never know. So quick little shout out to them. All right, next tweet by Willy Woo. This is one way of visualizing maximum pain. So right here, we've got obviously the Bitcoin price. He's looking at the supply underwater. So basically, most bear markets, we tend to come back down to these lines right here, and we haven't done that yet. And that's around about 10K, which is something that I said in yesterday's live stream. I think a 4-figure Bitcoin would create chaos, and this is where the biggest opportunity is going to be. It's going to feel helpless, and this is exactly how I felt when I was uneducated, unknowledgeable back here in 2008, and I saw the collapse from 6 to 3K, and I was like, oh man, this thing's dead. And I was one of those diamond holders that was like, I'm just going to die with this thing, like whatever. And it wasn't until April 1st I saw the pump, and I was like, oh, what's this Bitcoin thing again? Like, it's obviously doing something, because I was always keeping an eye on the price of my failing asset. And it wasn't until like I started, reading into it, getting more into it, which was during this pumping phase right here. I was actually on a trip in Africa, one of the best trips ever. And like around this period, this is where I was watching 10 hours of YouTube every single day, educating myself, understanding the macroeconomics of Bitcoin, why it wasn't going to die, et cetera, because I'd lived through the pump and through the hell, but I just thought that it was a Ponzi scheme and all the rest of it. So right now, this is telling me that we need to see some more pain, and we are going to probably have it around the corner, or not. I'd prefer not. Of course, I'd prefer not, but I'm just going off what the technicals are showing me, and it's not looking good. Next one from Lynn Alden, the 80 plus million people of Turkey are dealing with 80% plus annual price inflation. Yeah, Turkey is one of those European countries worst hit by inflation. I know Lebanon's up there. It's getting really bad everywhere. So look, it does not surprise me. One thing that I did find out recently, because I'm getting some teeth repaired, that Turkey is one of the best countries in order to get your teeth done, if not the best. So right now, because inflation is so high, if you are looking to get crown or anything like that, normally people go to Thailand and stuff like that. I did some research, but now a lot of people going to Turkey. So if you want to get your teeth done, your exchange rate's probably going to be amazing because the inflation's down. You want to say something?
Well, they're also good for hair rejuvenation too. So if you want to get that while you're over
there. Is that what you came on to say? You came on to just have a sledge.
No, hey, I'm not saying that. I actually know people that went to Turkey to get hair rejuvenation. I was
just say you can't really talk with a head like yours. Come on.
I can't talk. I need it just as bad as you do. I've been bored longer than you, mate. But I just thought if you're going to get your teeth fixed, you might as well fix your head too.
I got Ashley Martin here in Australia, or Mosh. How good are Mosh's ads? Mosh's ads are great.
I don't know, man. I don't watch.
You don't know? The first one they ever did was like they blanked out the screen, the TV screen. And then you're like, oh, maybe like what's happening with the TV? And then they're like, hey man, if you were up trying to get to fix the TV as quick as you could fix your hair, like they get into
that was really
good. Really good. Check it out. All right, last tweet by Graham Stephen is 600 billion what Lehman Brothers held in assets when they crashed and took the economy with them. 2,800 billion. So that's like, yeah, isn't that a trillion? Wouldn't they be 2.8 trillion? But anyways, what Credit Suisse and Deutsche Bank control in AUM 4.6 times more. Credit Suisse is at a critical moment now, says the CEO. What lies in store for the world? So Credit Suisse CDS spreads at a 14-year high. I'm assuming this stuff is very similar to the yield bonds in America. It looks like there's a very correlated. It's correlated. I mean, look here back at the GFC. When it comes up here, the market's not too good, and it looks like this thing's got a bit more room to go. So does it show that maybe some of these big companies once again have overexposed themselves? Alrighty, we are on to the adoption highlights. I'm going to bring Wasim back in. Over to you, my friend.
All right, thank you very much, Maddie. All right, guys. So over to adoption highlights, we've got Binance joins forces with Kazakhstan regulators to battle local financial crime. So as you guys have probably seen, if you haven't been watching our live streams, Binance has been in at least one live stream per week as they grow and continue to get regulatory licensing in different countries so that they can operate in those countries. They are definitely on a big move right now. And they indicated back in early 2022 that they want to move into Kazakhstan because Kazakhstan is a country that does want to become a crypto hub, and a lot of the countries around it are more loyal to cryptocurrency, which could strengthen the presence of Kazakhstan. And Kazakhstan has a lot of crypto miners there. Unfortunately, being also an Asian country and also being a developing country, that opens up a lot of corruption, a lot of crime in those countries. Also, now they are joining forces with Binance with a memorandum of understanding to try and work together to create a safe way that people can exchange fiat for crypto and crypto back to fiat, and also be able to control and manage the crimes, illegal usage of crypto. Binance has one of the world's best compliance systems, I suppose, for lack of a better word, and therefore they're in the best place to be able to come in and help out Kazakhstan. So great news for the country, great news for Asia, and also great news for Binance as they continuously kick some big goals in the crypto sphere. Moving on, we have Spain's largest telecom brand dives deep into Web3. So we've spoken about other countries. Oh, sorry about that, guys. We've spoken about other countries where the telecommunication providers, like in Brazil, I think it was, and Mexico, all of them have started to move into Web3 and providing services like wallet services and whatnot. The largest telecommunication called Telefonica in Spain has started moving into cryptocurrencies, and they're going to enable cryptocurrency payments like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, USDC, and to many of its marketplace called TU. This is not the first time that this company has moved into Web3. They've already created an NFT platform, and they are also looking at advancing their extended reality XR and bringing the metaverse to life. So we're seeing more and more companies realizing that this is the way of the future. This is the way that they need to move, and therefore they're starting to move down this direction and incorporating crypto services, metaverse, NFTs, and etc. into their offering because it's what people want. Next up was largest banks have exposure to XRP and ADA, study shows. Now, look, this headline is a little bit deceiving because when you read through the headline, they actually, they do have, some of the world's largest banks do have exposure to XRP and ADA. However, when you look at the actual data, if you just want to scroll down a little bit, it's less than 2%. The majority of the banks are still holding predominantly Bitcoin and Ethereum, with about 90% of bank holdings around the world are in Bitcoin and Ethereum. XRP, DOT, and ADA are just about 1 or 2% of their holdings, but it does show you that they are bullish on that. So this is great news for the crypto industry as we start seeing mainstream banks realize that they got to get in on this or they're going to miss out. Last but not least, we have Argentina state-owned energy company moves into crypto mining. Now, this is actually a really good story. Why I like this story is because what this company has done is called YPF. They are supplying now 1 megawatt of operations to a company that does crypto mining. Now, it's not just about them providing that, it's about how they're providing it. One of the biggest attacks on Bitcoin has been its energy hungry network, which we can't deny. Bitcoin is a proof of work. Therefore, you need electricity to be able to mine and validate transactions. Now, a lot of reports have come out, negative reports have come out about Bitcoin being a major energy vampire. However, the reality is it is in the miner's best interest to find cheaper and renewable energy and better energy. And what better way to be able to do that than to find wasted energy that we can't use anyway, and then transform that to electricity and use that for mining. And that's exactly what some of these companies are doing now. When you've got energy companies like YPF who, dig up oil and whatnot, they have wasted gas in the process. Now they use this wasted gas, which can't usually be used, usually gets burnt into the atmosphere, causing more CO2, causing more damage to the environment, causing more damage to climate change and whatnot. Now these guys have figured out ways that they can take that wasted energy, convert it to power, and then use it for mining. Other companies have also expanded into places like Oman and Dubai, where they've had sovereign wealth. So they've had royals in those countries give them money to build these Bitcoin mining plants that are using wasted energy that cannot be used by humans anyway. So therefore, they're reusing it, turning it to something something valuable, something good for humanity, and reducing the pollution in the world. So I love hearing stories like this because it just shows how much crypto is doing good for the world, not just from a financial perspective.
Alrighty, mate. I'll let you stay on for the market update. We're seeing the move that I said would happen. Right now, I expect Bitcoin to start getting rejected from here. We are at the point of control of the entire sideways range that we've been in since We did the 17,600 low on the 19th of June. Right now, it's going to be fighting against the point of control of this entire sideways range and also this trend line. So if I quickly just do a fixed range profile just to show you the volume. So this is where the most amount of Bitcoin has been traded right now. This red line that we can see, this is where the price of Bitcoin is right now. This is huge resistance. If we can break this with volume, yes, we will go to the moon. If we don't break this, which is what I most likely expect, we're probably going to be brought down. So, yeah, the next 24 to 48 hours is going to be pretty interesting. And yeah, if you are a trader or you want to see some really cool live action of pumps and dumps and so forth, there's nothing that gets my heart racing more than seeing big candlesticks. So that sounded weird.
Big green candlesticks, right?
Big green candlesticks. So, guys, we're probably going to see very big green candlesticks to the upside or very big red candlesticks to the downside. And look, if you watch price action live when things are pumping or dumping, it's really euphoric. You get a lot of energy. It's a good body high because you're getting a lot of adrenaline. It's awesome to watch. So hopefully you guys get to catch a pump and dump one day. Usually happens at night because that's where the biggest liquidity is. But hey, during the Asian market time, I have seen some pumps and dumps. So make sure that you're tuning in the next 48 hours. It's going to be explosive. Well, we've come to the end of the live stream. Once again, thank you for joining me, Wasim. I think we covered a lot of things. As usual, guys, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to drop us a like, comment, even subscribe to the channel. It helps us out. It lets us know that you love this content so we can continuously do it. If you want us to cover some certain things, feel free to leave us comments as well. Suggestions, we're always open to feedback and we're happy to change some parts of the live stream if you feel like you want to hear more of something or less of something else.
Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, mate, guys. And as always, remember, if you haven't got your Decrypting Crypto package, you really need to get it. It's absolutely free. It gives you an idea of why you need to be looking at this. If you don't know anything about crypto, this is your free starting point to learn a little bit about why crypto is where it is and why it's going to be the future and why we need to be involved in it right now. So make sure you guys grab your copy of that. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the daily content that we are bringing out right now. And always, guys, invite your family and friends. If you've discovered crypto and you understand how it's going to change your life, and then it becomes up to you to share that message with the people that you love. So invite them over, let them listen, and let's grow this channel.
That's it from us, guys. See you Friday. Bye.